Good evening. Welcome to the Toon Review and yet another transfer show. Lots of names linked with Newcastle United. This transfer window, of course, is going to be with us reaching Champions League this year. Before we start, though, can you please hit that thumbs up? Take a second of your time, just hit that thumbs up button. Give us a like. Just means an awful lot to us. It pushes us right up the search engine in YouTube, so other people can come in and subscribe to us. And by saying that, if you haven't subscribed yet and you do like what you see, click that subscribe button. It's free to do so. And it gets you to be part of the Toon Review family. Super Chat's also available by clicking on a $sign and contributing to the channel that way. And also you can become a member by clicking the join button and that takes you through to a payment page. And that makes you a paid subscriber, basically. So you'll be contributing to the channel that way. Myself and Alex are here tonight to review 3 players. But we'll do a few comments first. Jock's in the chat. Hi, Jock. Hope you're well, mate. Harry's here. Hope you're well, Harry. Even everyone looking forward to a brilliant show tonight. Paul Sales is also here. Good evening to you. Ian A is also here. Evening to you. Fez is also here. He's the thumbnail for us tonight. Fantastic thumbnail it is too. Thanks, Fez. Mod Tom's in the house. Tom the Mod. Even everyone just finishing watching another show. That was 10 minutes ago, so he's allowed to do that.
You got to be here now, though, Tom.
Yeah, he'll be here now. Jordy Wayman, good evening to you. And he also says, looks like we might not have the spending power this window at least. Well, we're going to have some support spending power, but
somebody's been reading Luke Edwards' tweets.
Yeah.
Won't be so sure about that.
Predator says, evening lads and lasses, evening mod squad. Billy Ace is in the house too. Good evening to you. Tom says, no duplicate tweets, please. Yes, I'll be watching. Indeed, he will be. Geordie Awayman says, the Italians have shaved themselves again. Ultras my arse, cowards more like. Not seen that. It's Fiorentina fans been at it, have they?
I'm not sure.
Because Tom then follows up shocking what the Fiorentina Ultras have been up to. I'm not sure. I've not seen this.
Well, it's Italian Ultras. I don't know if you've seen the viral video of the Napoli manager. What's his name? Is it Spalletti? The Ultras, when it wasn't going very well, the Ultras robbed his steering wheel out of his car. And then, as a present for winning the league, they've given him it back in a box as a present. So weird. Really odd.
Anyway, Predator, same here. So starved the football, so I'll definitely be watching. Actually hope West Ham win. Bring the trophy back to England. And I echo that. We'll be supporting West Ham United on the Toon Review. West Ham are, of course, a club that dared to break the cartel the last couple of seasons. So, we're going to be supporting them tonight. Marius is here. Also, good evening to you, my friend. Would be Farmers here. Good evening to you, my friend. Apparently, the Ultras attack West Ham fans, according to Jock.
Oh, dear.
They're picking on the wrong people there, I think.
Yeah.
And Tom then says, Fiorentina fans basically attacking West Ham fans, drinking in bars and terrorising Prague, smashing the place up. Interesting. Spike's here. Good evening to you. Would-be Farmer says he's going to support the Hammers also. Good evening to Paul Gallant. Hope you're well. And JB. Harry says, seems the same that happened in Naples when Frankfurt fans smashed up the place. Yeah, it's an echo back to old days. It's not good.
What they don't understand is that hurts the growth of the club. I mean, I've seen this firsthand in Poland, and obviously Polish Ultras are a little bit different. Yeah. But it really does stunt the growth of the club. The city I lived in, the club had awful attendances and was just stagnating, struggling with money, as a lot of Polish clubs were. And it was primarily as a result of the Ultras and the thugs and the violence, knives, pyrotechnics, fireworks, all of this kind of thing. You'd get families that didn't want to go, and it was considered a thuggish thing to like football in Poland for a lot of people. When I said I like football, people thought I was maybe a bit of a thug, because that's what it gets associated with over there. And it's Ultras, there's being a super fan and then there's just being a thug. There is a difference, and there's no place really for it.
it's not good for football. I mean, it's a family sport these days as well, isn't it? So all the less reason to do that kind of rubbish. But Roger Cook's here. Evening to you. It says evening, Billy Alex and all. John Backdoor has made it in. Good evening to you. Peter Keith, Ian Skinner, Peter Bill, Gareth Bascom, Jan Levens, Carl, Creative JB. Lots of people here. It's good to see this. Lee Davidson. Good evening to you. KB over in Belfast. Very good to you, Billy and Alex. Hope you're all well and cool. Two marvellous young fellas. That's what you are, 100%, etc., etc. To Corner Face says we'll spend when we want. Tony Douglas, good evening to you. Russell Fox, also you. Ken Robinson, evening, Billy and Alex. Look forward to some good player info. We shall start doing it in a minute. Paul says he'll start sharing in 5 minutes. Thank you very much, Paul. Very much appreciated. Michael Taylor, good evening to you. Ian Skinner says, been enjoying the Americans losing their minds over PJ and Live Golf merger. Hilarious. Yeah, they've played a proper fiddle, haven't they?
I can't wait to see the next Oliver Holt article. What a buffoon he is, and he's gonna. Well, a lot of people have been tweeting him. Obviously, he's attacked me before on Twitter, and he's got a personal vendetta against the club for some reason. I try to be respectful of all journalists, but this man in particular has been rather malicious for no reason to the club, and decided to try and call me out for spelling my name Stat O instead of with double T. There's no reason it can't just be Stat and an O on the end. That also works. I'm aware of how to spell. He's just a buffoon, and he's a nasty man. And this is hilarious because he's quite invested in the golf, and it's funny because it's going to completely destroy his outlook on it. So
definitely
get what you deserve, I guess.
Emily Bishop wouldn't be very happy with his behaviour, that's for certain. What we got here, Jock Bar. Let's talk about Spalletti. Robbed his CDs also and gave them him back up too. So they did a proper number on him.
Yeah, it was.
JR Peacock, evening to you, evening Billy and Alex Mods, evening everyone else. Hope everyone is keeping well. New name here, Anbar Aldosari. I hope I said that right. Hi, Jock. Please say that we will have all our signings this summer. Not like last year. It is the Champions League, I guess he's saying. Andrew Johnson, good evening to you. Russell Fox says, here, Chelsea and Liverpool have joined the race for Gabriel Vega. There's always a tenuous link in the first place.
Reports that we've pulled out of the race for him. So
yeah,
we'll see how it is. Which is why you can't jump into the hype for these transfers. There's been a lot of, we're pretty much in for a player, and it's just disappeared. Like, you've got to be careful.
Indeed. That's why we only review the players and see how they fit into our system, not shout it off from the rooftops that they're signing, and like some channels do. Dangle 250 says, evening to review family. Food for thought. As brilliant as last season was, going forward, that's basically as bad as it's going to get for us with the investment we're going to have over the next few years. I hope you're right, Dangle. I hope you're right, mate. I think you are right, actually. Evening to Swanky Wags. Julie, hope you're well. Let's get this first player up. Evening to Dominic. Irani Granny. Darren Bloomer. I'm nearly at the bottom now. Creative JB. Aaron Cowell. Even more to appear as I do that. Reese, etc., etc. Kenneth Stark. John Green. We'll come back to that in a minute. We'll get our first player up, who is Rayan Cherki. Yeah,
I mean, we were just chatting before we started the show about, I don't think he's originally French or at least, ancestrally not from from France. I guess Tunisian, I was wrong. It's Algerian. I had a look on Transfermarkt, so I was close. So, but French-born, from an interesting town name, if you want to give that a crack, Billy.
Poussignon.
Poussignon, yeah.
I've got O-level French. I'm all right.
So, for those of you who don't know who this is, I mean, there will be some of you who do, if you play Football Manager or FIFA or are into that sort of thing. This guy is 19 at the moment, but I feel like he's been around for a decade because he's one of those sort of wonder kids that's been floating around on games for a few years now. It appears on this site from about 15 years old in terms of statistics from FBref. So at the moment, his contract as it stands expires in June 2025, and he's on 69,000 euros. So in real biscuits, that's slightly less than that, what, £65,000, whatever the exchange rate is at the moment. So we could comfortably increase that by a little bit, or if not, double it if we really, really have to, although he's quite young. We probably wouldn't need to double it. So, from my understanding, he was originally sort of a winger, a right winger. Although, interestingly enough, you can see how highly rated this guy is as a sort of a wonder kid. In footed there, it says both. So if FBref doesn't assign you a strong foot, you're doing rather well, because that's quite some praise to be just told on all the stat websites, oh, we don't really know because he just does both. That's kind of nice. 5'9", 152 pounds, what's that about? Just shy of 11 stone, although this could be, it might not have been updated. You know, he could be a stone heavier than that for all we know. He might have grown a tiny bit as well. You never know. So he's not the biggest guy physicality wise, but I'm sure he'll grow into himself as a young man. This season, 4 goals, 6 assists from 1,800 minutes, just under 1,900 minutes, is nice and healthy. Similar to what kind of Maxi was producing, if I may name drop. So a good healthy amount. Arguably should have done he's been a little bit unlucky in front of goal. Should have probably had 5 goals, 7 assists according to his XG and his XAG. But he's only on the 10, but that's still rather good. You've got to remember he's 19. So scroll down and have a look at how he spikes statistically, and it is rather well.
Wow.
So this is as an attacking midfielder / winger. Christ on a bicycle is what I will say about his ball progression there. That is all kinds of ridiculous. That is. So it doesn't matter if he's trying to progress the ball by means of passing or carrying it himself. He could do either or, both, all of them, all of the carries. He does all of the carrying. 97th percentile for carries, 95th percentile for passes. Bearing in mind, again, this is a 19-year-old being compared to his peers around the top 5 leagues in Europe and the Champions League. So this is comparing him against Messi and Salah and all those kinds of players, and this is how he's profiling.
I've just seen the comparison list there. And
I know. We'll scroll over to that in a minute. It is rather tasty, isn't it?
It's a yeah.
So normally you'd see sort of a drop off in certain areas when you've got an attacking midfielder or more so a winger, but his passes attempted, his pass volume is enormous, 52 passes per game. And his pass completion rate is also really, really healthy. It's well above average. His touches in the attacking penalty area is through the roof. So this kid wants to be involved all the time. His successful take-ons is also 3.8 per 90. So he's beaten his man via a dribble 4 times every single game, which is mental. Again, that's in the top first percentile. So the only thing really we can criticize here, the defensive contribution. But again, I think part of that is down to age, physicality, potentially the way the team plays, tactical instruction. What happens when you lose the ball? Do you press? Do you drop back into shape? What is his role in all of that? Does he have a role in pressing? It's we have to take that with a pinch of salt. It doesn't look great. I'm not going to lie. It doesn't look brilliant defensively. But there's potentially more context to it that I don't know yet. If we get any stronger links, I will go and do a little bit more research as to potentially why. It's always good. I always suggest following Sanjay and Edit Kev on Twitter, two stat guys who really know what they're talking about. If we get linked with this guy any further, they will probably drop an article on him as well. So in terms of output, shot creating actions through the roof. 6 shot creating actions per 90. So if anybody wants a refresher on what shot creating actions are, so two offensive actions directly leading to a shot, such as a pass, take-ons, drawing fouls. So this is what Maxi spikes very highly in. He doesn't always get credited with the assist, but he'll always do the work leading up to that assist. It's often Fabian Schär as well normally gets robbed of this. So Fabian Schär as a centre-back has got enormous shot creating action statistics because he doesn't get credited with the end sort of assist, but he will do that first ping ball that then 2 or 3 moves later gets the goal. So shot volume is super, super high, nearly 3 shots per 90 from your attacking midfielder is really, really nice. Let's move across and have a look at who he compares to, as Billy kindly pointed out. Well, I mean, who doesn't he compare to is probably an easier question to answer. I mean, you can all read, but that's ridiculous. I mean,
that's the best 10 attacking midfielders, wingers in Europe, surely to God.
I mean, these are all players capable of winning a Champions League.
Anyone that's an attacking midfield winger is on that list.
I mean, Mahrez, Grealish, are currently in a Champions League final. Vinicius Junior has won a Champions League final. Dembele hasn't, but he's in and amongst the Barcelona squad. Messi, of course, has. Neymar, of course, has. Kvaratskhelia got through to the quarterfinals with Napoli. You know, and then Bayern Munich obviously got knocked out. But these are all elite level Champions League wingers.
Salah's the one that's won one, isn't he? Salah's won one.
And Salah on that list. So pretty much everyone is either a sort of, this is between quarterfinal and winners medal Champions League level player. The fact that he's profiling like that is pretty ridiculous. That is enormous praise for this little kid here. So let's go down and have a look at his career. This will back up what I mentioned earlier. He's been around forever. This is why I've known about him for quite a few years, because he was in football games, you know, ages ago. So apparently he got his first start as a 15-year-old in the Lyon setup, in the first team setup, which is bonkers, a 15-year-old. 27 appearances in the following season, only 5 starts, but 700 minutes for a 16-year-old is a lot. That is, you know, in the 2021 season. And then last season, when he was 17 years old, 16 appearances, 3 starts, 440 minutes. And then this year, when he's turned 18, has been his breakout season. He's been tasked with a first team responsibility, made 21 starts, 34 appearances, you know, getting up towards the sort of 2,000 minutes mark, and he's been producing for them. He's been doing really, really well. So let's go and look at the more important stuff. That is not Rayan, Cherki. Let's go actually onto his profile. There he is. He does not look very happy in his profile, though. Let's maybe make him less valuable.
That's a good sign, surely.
Well, yeah, we can take him. Long balls playmaking is apparently his strength. Scroll on and have a look. We can see a lot of very, very healthy sofa score. I was going to say gradings then. Ratings, that's the right word. That's the one I was looking for. So let's go and have a look at his most recent game. This was on the 3rd. What does it say? 7th. So a few days ago. He got an assist in this game. They did lose 3-1. However, he managed to get an assist and drop a 7.3 in a game in which they lost. So they played in a 4-2-3-1. So he's currently tasked with being the number 10. Even though I remember him being a right winger, they've been deploying him as a number 10 this season. They've got Tolisso and Maxence Caqueret as their double pivot in a 4-2-3-1 with Lacazette up top. So he's been tasked with being that guy in behind and knitting everything together, essentially, which for a 19-year-old to have that responsibility, I think is pretty mental. Especially in Ligue 1, you know, it's not some. I know we call Ligue 1 a farmers' league, but it is still one of the top 5 leagues in Europe. It's a massive league when you factor in sort of world football. So heat map, he's been involved all over the pitch here in this game. He's played 76 minutes. He's got his assist. He's nice, tidy passing accuracy at 89%. 5 key passes is pretty special, to be fair. 4 out of 4 long balls. Created a big chance for his team. That was most likely his assist. He managed to get a shot on, a shot off target, a successful dribble, 2 out of 5 ground duels. This is something I've noticed that maybe he needs to improve on, as was shown in his FBref data that physically he's maybe not there yet. Was fouled once. Let's look at another game against Monaco. So no joke of a team at all. So again, same formation, same position in that 10 role behind Lacazette. Let's move over. So heat map is pretty mental here. He's covered so much ground.
Yeah.
Now, again, you can see what this kid is about. It's all here. 87 touches, 81% pass accuracy, 3 key passes for his team. He's pinging long balls every game for everyone. 4 shots on target with 2 off target. He managed to get his goal. And yeah, he got his goal. Only completed 1 dribble, but again, you can see here, this is where he falls down. 1 out of 9 ground duels. He needs to grow into his own body, ideally, and be a bit more physical. But you can definitely see what he's about.
He's only a bairn, isn't he? He's only a bairn, so
he is just a little baba. So France under 21. I mean, to get capped by France at the moment, you've got to be an absolute freak of a player because the national team's insane. But he's been capped by the under 21 squad. 7 caps, 4 goals. I think he is probably due a call up at some point. He does have dual citizenship, I believe, with Algeria. Yes, he does. So if France don't hurry up and cap him, they will lose him to Algeria because if he doesn't get France, he's going to get impatient, you would imagine, at some point. So we've already discussed he will have 2 years left in his contract. going into this summer. Well, I say we are already in the summer. We're already there. I can stop saying that now. It's done. The season's over. So again, Transfermarkt considers him both-footed. Ridiculous praise that is. That's insane, especially for a playmaker who can also be a winger. He can play either side. A young, versatile wide forward who can play centrally as well. I mean, apart from the physicality potentially being an issue, I can't really see an issue with him.
No, it looks
because I think the physicality you can maybe help him with that.
Definitely, yeah, you can work around that. And he's, as you say, he still might have some growing to do. One other plus, of course, is he plays for Lyon, and obviously Bruno will be familiar with him. Might be able to put a word in his way,
of course.
So
we've obviously dealt with Lyon specifically with a recent transfer, which will help because we've obviously had agent contact, club contact, so that connection is already there.
Looks a fantastic prospect, and he's also doing the job now. So yeah, he looks like he ticks a lot of the boxes for me. He looks a fantastic prospect. I'll be very interested if we sign him. Very interested.
Well, again, it is just paper talk at the moment.
Of course it is.
We'll wait and see. Like I said, if we get anything a bit more concrete, we'll go into a bit more detail about specifically how he plays and how he could fit in for us. Well, I mean, we can talk about it a tiny bit now. I mean, it's pretty obvious he's going to play as a winger because we don't play in a system that requires a 10 unless we do a sort of mid-game shift or unless Eddie Howe's going to turn the formation on its head in the summer, which I think is unlikely. I think we're probably looking at this 4-3-3 for a while. But yeah.
The fact he's 2-footed, he can play on either wing, and he can play as an inverted winger. He can play on the outside. He ticks so many boxes to me, being 2-footed.
But then if he finds himself centrally, like Maxi and Miggy often do, he can play that role. He can actually play that role properly. I know people say, yeah, but Miggy's played in the 10. Yeah, he played in the 10 in the MLS. Doesn't count. Sorry, Americans. It doesn't count.
Fantastic. Yeah, it looks a real a 19-year-old can have them green bars what they are. It's fantastic in my opinion. Superb. A nice comment here from Susan Townsend. Hello, Susan. Hope you're well. I've been excited for a couple of days. Need to tell my grandson all the gen. I'm a font of knowledge after listening to you guys. Thank you very much. That's the kind of chat I like. Thank you for that, Susan. I really appreciate that. Kev Tay says the merger will be great for golf fans. Isn't that what it's really all about? Of course it is. Calvin says ultras are weirdos. They are indeed. Good evening to Ian Fleming. I hope you're well. Also, there's a Facebook user. I don't know who it is, but he says, this is a message for Alex. I was just wondering, because of Saudi's own 5 football clubs, can they buy the players that we don't want anymore for a lot more money than what they are worth, so we would have more money in the summer to spend?
No. No is the answer to that, because we can still get investigated. Like, they wouldn't get in trouble their end, but we would get in trouble our end for inflating the value if they don't think it was a fair market rate. So there's a recent Tifo video about this, about Barcelona and Juventus doing the whole Pjanic, Artur thing, their funny midfielder, and not declaring things properly and getting investigating, and Juventus got in trouble. Barcelona are also in a lot of trouble. I think we've got to be very careful. I don't think we're going to do anything quite as obviously dodgy as that. I hope we don't do anything dodgy. I hope we do it all by the book. But I think a lot of people talking about loans and exploiting the whole Saudi link. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't think it's possible.
So what
I think as soon as we try, they'll throw the rule book straight at our head as hard as they can.
You don't expect to see the Sky Sports News yellow ticker Jeff Hendrick signs for Al Ittihad for £50 million.
I don't think. Is it Al Hilal who are signing Zahar as well? I don't think they're going to want Ryan Fraser on the opposite wing. I wouldn't hold your breath. Put it that way.
Good evening to Sophia. I hope you're well. Andrew Tench says, "Hi boys, how you guys doing?" Black and white hearts there. Welcome to you, Andrew. JB says Yanks own 80% of the Premiership and not one sports correspondent mentions it. It's a fair point. It's interesting username. One man and his Twatterdales. Good evening, lads. Quality signings, not quantity, eh? Yeah, I guess so.
True. We hope so. We don't want to do a Chelsea.
Jay Welsh says we need a number 10. Do we?
We literally don't play the system that requires a number 10.
Indeed. Woodby Farmer says, do you see any dark horses or surprise transfers in the summer, any under the radar?
Yes.
Well, if they're under the radar, we would know about them. So
exactly, definitely, because they had the last couple of transfer windows. There's been a signing that's been like, huh, really? Okay. So that there'll definitely be somebody I don't know about.
Absolutely, 100%. Lewis Payne says all I want this summer is Todibo and Shabozlia. Shabozli, I should say Shabozli. Can't remember what his name is now. And left back, they elevate our game to next level. Yep. Lots to talk about Shabozli, of course. Reese, the FM Wonder Kid himself, talking about Cherki. Jan says, pick them up and lock them up for a few weeks. Ultras. Yes. Well, more than a few weeks, actually. Geordie Wayman says he's 2-footed. That's a rare occurrence these days. So, yes. Absolutely. Good evening to Julie J. I hope you're well. Reese says there's a few French Algerians like Awa who just changed nationality from French to Algeria. So it's a tough squad to break into that French squad, isn't it? Especially as a wide attacking midfield player or a wide player. You think Coman, you've got Sane, you've got Sane's German, but you've got Mbappe.
Sane, you've got so many wingers to choose from.
I know.
You chose a German.
I'll pick Coman. You've
had a Castore there.
Proper. Pick the one by Munich winger. So yeah, they've got Coman. They've got loads, haven't they? Loads and loads of them. Maxi even. Let's not forget.
But he's never been capped.
Exactly.
Who've they got? They got They got Coman, Mbappe. You've got then Kunku as well. You've got Griezmann's French.
Yep.
Lamar's French.
Yeah.
For Atletico. Diaby, of course, is French.
Yep.
Ousmane Dembele, Thuram. It's just loads, absolutely loads of them. So yeah.
So it wouldn't be surprising to see Mr. Cherki head for Algeria, but
no, because they keep hold of them, and like us, it's Southgate that's the moron and lets them slip. Like I don't want to hear anything about Balogun in the chat. I'm not over it
yet. Dave says, "Evening, Billy, Alex, Mods, and all in the chat. Rolling the transfer window. Well, it's only 5 days away now? 7 days. This time next week, isn't it? A week.
Exciting."
Reece says, "Get this guy in now." He's really pleased with him. Julie says, "Also got eyes on the Hammers game, as have I."
It's not kicked off. When's it kick off? 8 o'clock.
Not kicked off yet. No, they're just talking to the pundits in a minute. Joe Cole's there, and so there was some bloke there earlier. I think he must be from Fiorentina, but he was getting on for my age, but he had a great mullet, a real bad one, one. Roger Cook says, "Alex, I was dubious until he dropped his stats. Everyone's pleased with the stats." Swanky Wag says, "Blimey, look who the players he's compared with." Yes,
I know, right?
That took my attention straight away. Evening, guys. Can we sign overseas players from the 14th or just UK? Heard international window opens the 1st of July. Don't know about
that. I don't think it matters. I think you can just default the contract to start on X day as long as the clubs are in agreement. I think there's workarounds for all these things. As long as there's no work permit issues, I think it's fine.
Yes, please. What a set of stats for a 19-year-old. A lot of people impressed with this lad. Holy shit, those 10 players being compared with. Steve Mallum, even though getting dragged out for work, they never notice if I have my AirPods in and YouTube and then West Ham on. Well, you never know.
As long as you've got us on, then that's fine.
And Mary says, "Can't see us getting him." Well, we don't know, do we? Let's get the next player up. And this time we're still in Ligue 1. Jean-Clair Todibo.
Jean-Clair Todibo, yes. So Fez did a funny today. He put it on the thumbnail. He put him in a Barcelona shirt, but he plays for Nice. He was at Barcelona at one point, so yeah, that was fair. So KN French. I'm not very good with French. Wherever he's from, he's from France.
French Guyana. Was it French Guinea? I don't know.
French Guinea. That's what I was going to say. 22,000 funny European biscuits a week. So quite, very low wages compared to what we've got people on. We've got Matt Ritchie and stuff on like 45,000 a week. So pretty ridiculous, really. Am I living on the moon? Yeah, no, a lot of people haven't heard about Cherki before because he's young. But Todibo, cheap. However, contract expires June 2027, which is quite a long way away in the future. So he might cost an arm and a leg and another arm and another leg because he's rather good. We have reviewed him before on a transfer show, but his name has cropped up again and again and again and again. And again. You know, we're getting linked regularly to a number of players, and I feel like it's probably worth us reviewing him again, just in case, you know, because we know we're probably in the market for somebody to play either behind or in front of Fabian Schär, depending on how we want to set the back four next year. 6'2.5". He's got the right stature, right-footed, 23 years old. You know, same age as Botman right now. Kind of perfect, really, for what you want in terms of physicality. When you build a centre back, it's exactly what we want. I think Botman's a little bit taller, but it is what it is. He's also like Botman in that he just doesn't score any goals. 0 goals and 0 assists from 3,000 minutes in Ligue 1 and nearly 1,000 in the bloody Conference League as well. He's not even accumulated 1 XG. So arguably, he shouldn't have even scored a goal. Whereas Botman at least has put up 2.5 XG, so should have scored 2. I don't know what it is with us having centre-backs that can't score or wanting centre-backs that can't score. At this point, it's just Jamal Lascelles is a curse. I wish he could teach other players how to head the ball in the net. So let's scroll down and have a look at what this kid is about. So he is about a lot of things, all to do with passing. Passes attempted in the 87th percentile. He's trying nearly 70 passes per game, which is really, really tidy from your centre-back. He's nice and confident on the ball. He's happy to receive the ball often, and he's completing 88.5% of those passes in the 80th percentile, which is really nice. An additional part is that his ball progression is there. We don't want sideways passing. We want somebody who can give us some penetrative passes, and he can. So progressive passes per 90 at 4.8, and the 88th percentile is real tidy. Successful take-ons as well, which is right next to my head there, in the 95th percentile is good. It's 0.63. It's not great. So kind of nearly once a game-ish. He can beat a man as he steps out of defence and then play one of those dangerous balls. That's what we like. That's what Fabian Schär does. We need somebody who's a bit more confident on the ball. He's also got quite a high tackle volume statistic here with 2.38 per 90 in the 92nd percentile. That's very high for a centre-back, to be fair. That's a lot of tackles for a centre-back. He's got all the right ingredients. You know, if this kid also was scoring 3 to 5 goals, then sign him up on the dotted line straight away. Maybe it's something we can add to his game, although I don't think Botman should be teaching him anything. I feel like I'm digging Botman out a little bit today, but he deserves it. He should have scored. So who is he similar to? Dayot Upamecano. So yes, for those of you who watched that one Champions League game, I'm aware he had a mare. He's 99% of the times a really good centre-back and fine. It was a game. Please don't judge him as a person on a game of football. We've all seen shockers from people. Look at Nick Pope's game, for example. We love Nick Pope. So Martinez, I know we hate him, but he is a good centre-half. Nathan Collins on there as well. We have been linked with him before, which would kind of suggest, you know, we're looking at certain profiles of players. Skriniar as well is a great player. Mark Guehi we rate from Crystal Palace. So, you know, nice and complimentary there.
Martinez at Man United as well.
Yeah, I've already mentioned him. I said we hate him, but he is a good footballer. Igor for Fiorentina. I wonder if he's playing tonight. Ooh, we shall see. So what has this kid done in his club career? And then we can show you Fez's funny in that he has been at Barcelona. So Fez is correct, but he's not been there for a little while. So Toulouse, Ligue 1, 10 starts as an 18-year-old, went to Barcelona. Barcelona snapped him up straight away. Got a little bit of football, I guess, and then went to Schalke. I'm not sure what was on loan. Presumably these were on loan, I would imagine. I haven't checked. 4 starts for Schalke. This was in the Bundesliga. I wonder if a 12th place finish. Went to Benfica, didn't do anything, and then went straight to Nice. And then he actually started playing some football. 15 starts, 15 appearances in 2021. And then 21-22, he got all of the minutes, 35 starts and over 3,000 minutes. And this year, much of the same, 33 starts with again close to 3,000 minutes. So he's got 2 full, good, solid seasons of senior football under his belt and is now a 23-year-old. Potentially ready for his next move. We'll see. Let's have it. Oh, he's got funny hair in this one. So 23 years old. We've already looked at that. 189, right-footed. We've already clicked on that button because we've reviewed him for before. Weaknesses, according to them, is discipline and error proneness. I don't know about that. I think that's a bit harsh. I think they just, put that based on data. So let's have a look at recent games. We've got Nice, Montpellier. Nice won it 3-2. Oh, I need to scroll. There we go. Right, so we've got a 4-3-3, which is, of course, what we play. Just ignore the fact that Ross Barkley scored a goal for them. We don't care about Ross Barkley. So Dante is his centre, is his partner. In a back four, he's playing on the right-hand side, kind of where we would need somebody to, we need an extra person instead of just Fabian Schär. He's dropped to 6.5. Let's have a look at how he's done. So very high up heat map here in terms of his sort of average position is quite far forward for a centre half. So you can see that he is the guy tasked with stepping forward. Just out of curiosity, let's have a look at Dante's. Yeah, so you can sort of map these up and see who was filling in what sort of gaps. So Todibo was generally sort of hugging that halfway line on that right hand side, whereas Dante was a little bit more sort of spread around. And we'll have a look at what he's done in this game passing wise. So 42 out of 54 accurate passes, 78%. He's managed to ping 3 long balls. Duels were okay, 2 out of 5. Could have done with him doing a little bit better there, ideally. Scroll down. He's had a shot blocked as well, so he's had a go, presumably from a set piece. So let's look at one of his better games. So he's dropped a 7.6 in this game, again in a 4-3-3. So we are familiar with this system ourselves. Heat map again is pretty mental. You can see he's very, very, very active and athletic. Scroll down and have a look. An interception, a tackle. Far more impressive here in regards to his physical output in this game. 5 out of 7 ground duels, and he completed all 5 of his aerial duels as well. Gave up 1 foul committed. It is what it is. 92% pass accuracy is really tidy. That's a lot of passes as well. Over 70 to be completing that many is really, really good. A key pass for his team. 5 long balls. Yeah, you get the gist of it. He's French Fabian Schär to a point. To go on.
Well, no, I was going to say the thing I noticed about him when I've seen him play, he is rapid. He is a really rapid centre half, and that's probably why he seems so high up the pitch, because he's got the pace to get back. Maybe I don't know.
Well, that if we have one criticism of Fabian Schär is maybe could he be a bit faster? So having an understudy to him who has got maybe the opposite, similar skill set, but also some of what Schär doesn't. I can't remember if Schär was faster when he was younger. I know he's never been real fast, but I wonder what he was like at sort of 23, 24, if he actually had a bit of pace about him. Anyway, so he's not been capped yet, which is a shame. I'm not sure if he's been capped at youth level. We can see. Yes, he has. He's managed to get 1 cap at youth level. For under 21s, he's managed 5 for the under 20s. We've got probability of transfers here from rumours. It's us, Liverpool, and Man United, although the Man United links seem to be descending for whatever reason. So we've already looked at his contract length. Who's his agent? Have we got agent information on here? I can't see it. No, we don't. No, nothing on here for that. So, yeah, apparently can play either side of defence. I would suggest that's probably true. There's no reason why he couldn't. He just might be quite expensive because, he's a really, really, really solid, good prospect. I think he's kind of like the right-sided version of what Botman was last year. Anybody who gets this kid is going to have a really, really tidy centre-back for possibly the next decade. So it's one of them. He's going to cost a fair bit. I think he might cost, especially if there's other clubs in it, they're going to drive the price up. It's I don't think I think 30 is far too cheap. I don't think anybody's going to get him for 30. I think it's going to be 40 plus, in my opinion. But I would love him. I think he's great. Not a priority position, but although I say that, if Fabian Schär suddenly pulls an ACL at the start of the season, that is going to be terrifying. All of a sudden, that is a priority position, and we're looking at playing Jamal Lascelles or a makeshift back four with Burn. It gets really panicky real quick if Fabian Schär suddenly is out for a long period of time. So it would be nice if we bought cover.
Especially with the word on the street of Jamal Lascelles being let go in the summer. So if he does let him go, we definitely need a backup right-sided centre-back, I would imagine.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust the word on the street. I expect our captain to see out his last year, to be fair. But I could be wrong.
I mean, would we pay £40 million for basically a backup centre-half, or would he get ahead of Schär? I don't know. He's not quite.
I think priority positions at the moment would be the midfield and the midfield / wide
and left back.
Maybe it depends on the club, because technically we've got Burn and Target there and Jamal Lewis. It depends what the club decide to do. They might make an executive decision and say, right, we're going to improve this area this season because we've got 3 left backs on the books, potentially 4 with Paul Dummett. We're probably going to leave that until the next year, or till January. Who knows? They might say there's nobody of the profile we currently want for left back, therefore we're going to wait. It's impossible to know which direction they're going to go.
I guess it depends. Well, I guess we'll know by the movements in the transfer window. Still talking about Cherki here. Bruno might know him as he came from Lyon, indeed. Of course, Bellingham's off to Real Madrid. That's confirmed today. Ross Little, I've got to read this out. Sorry to bother people. I'm just really struggling with my mental health, Paul. Well, Paul isn't here. But if you need to shout anyone out, anyone's here for you at any time. If you follow any of us on Twitter, drop us a DM. We can have a little chat about it. This is a community here, Ross. So if you are struggling, reach out, mate. It's okay to be not okay. And we'll try and talk you through it. But don't suffer alone, mate. Don't suffer alone. Plenty of people here will help you out. Even to Stu, hope you're well, mate. And Ross says, I need the big lad back. Well, he'll be back tomorrow. And we've got a special show tomorrow. It's a 20k celebration. There will be all the super chats will be going to charities. The 2 charities that we support here, the British Heart Foundation, which of course is on behalf of the late great Dave Harrison, and Parkinson's UK, which is a cause close to Paul's heart, of course. So lots of fun stuff tomorrow. Massive celebration, 20k, something not to be sniffed at. 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Paul will be returning as well. Lots of good things to look forward to there. Ross, so if you need to do anything, drop him a DM. He will respond to you. Still talking about Cherki. This guy must be worth more than 25.
I wouldn't listen to the transfer value sort of on these kinds of websites. I definitely, because it's always inflated. You've got to remember we are a Premier League club and we're a Champions League club. They know we've got money. You do see these kinds of sales for fair prices if it's like between the Bundesliga and Liga and internal sales. You do get reasonable prices. They might sell him for 25 if it was a different context. But if it's to a Premier League club like us, add 20 to it. It's just how it works.
Cummings says apparently there's loads of Saudi teams after Fraser and players like that off us. I never believe what I see on Twitter. They well know. That's probably the worst place to look for good rumours. Kamal says Alex Al Nassr for Zaha. So Cristiano Ronaldo's teammate. Of course it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Creative JB says, well, Madison pretty much is a 10, so yes, we will get a 10. He might be, but we won't play him as one.
That's ridiculous. We're not going to play him as a 10, though, are we?
Of course we're not. Unless we change our system. I guess it's possible, but unlikely. We should use other PAF clone-owned clubs to exploit FFP. Spend punishment for the... I'm not even going to... It should be the human centipede. Okay, fine. Right, last player of the evening. We're going to come back across the channel to the Premier League, or actually not. That's not true now, is it? Now the Championship, where we find Carlos Alcaraz.
He's Argentinian, so Carlos Alcaraz. Yeah, funny one because obviously they've just been relegated. However, I feel like this kid is a slight breath of fresh air. I thought we always tried very hard whenever I watched Southampton. And Southampton were banging in quite a few goals at the back end of the season. Let's not forget they pumped 4 past Liverpool. They were scoring a bundle of goals in the run-in, despite it being torrid for them. They just couldn't defend and had no structure. And even though, we sing the praises of Ward-Prowse and Lavia, but they had no game control. None. Is it a coaching issue? Is it based on... It's a number of factors, but I would argue that maybe it's not as well put together as people seem to think. However, I always thought Alcaraz was really tidy. I think it's worth noting and pointing out he's 20 years old. He's not sort of 23, 24. He's only 20. He's still a little baba. He's only a few hundred days older than Cherki that we looked at. So £25,000 a week. He does have a fat contract until 2027. So it depends if there's anything in his contract regarding going down to the Championship, though, whether there'd be a lower like fee or a difference in it could be a number of things. He's quite slight. He could do with another one of these players that could do with being a bit more physical, but again, I think that will come in time. But for 1,000 minutes in a team as underperformed, that's been underperforming as much as Southampton, he's got 4 goals, 2 assists. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. It is worth pointing out he's more than doubled his expected goals. He should have scored 2. He scored 4. Is that down to him having high amounts of quality, or did he get lucky? I'm not sure. I need to go. Ideally, if I'd have had a bit more time, I'd have gone and watched all 4 goals, which probably wouldn't have taken me very long. But that's my fault. I do apologise. Let's go down and have a look at the stats. Don't panic. He plays for Southampton. Don't panic. I know I've shown you Cherki. I shouldn't have shown Alcaraz next to Cherki. It was really unfair on Alcaraz. He's not a bad player. He just plays for Southampton. That was all it is. So you can see he's trying to get involved defensively to a point. You can see pretty much the style he was forced into, based on the fact that down in that bottom corner, you can see blocks, clearances, aerials are where he's spiking, because that's what he was having to do for Southampton, in my opinion. Again, this data set was taken over 1,000 minutes, so that's not a whole lot of minutes. I think it's unfair to judge him. This kid could probably play in produce a much different graphic to this if he was in even a slightly different team. If you let him have 1,000 minutes in the Brighton setup or in a Brentford setup, I think this graphic looks monumentally different. I think this does him massively dirty. I think he's a lot better than this. And you can see that in the way that the statistics are spiked. It's comparing him to Bobby Reid, who's not a bad player for Fulham, Brennan Johnson, of course, from Nottingham Forest, who we know quite well, and Somerville, who was okay for Leeds in parts of the season. Jakub Kaminski as well for Wolfsburg is not too bad. So you can kind of get an idea of the sort of the flavour that he offers. But you gotta hear me out on this one. It would be a little bit of a project, and if you do have a look, he's only just come out of Argentina for Racing Club, so and he didn't play a whole lot of football over in Argentina either at senior level. He's got a reasonable amount of minutes for a 20-year-old. I don't know why I've got. Why does it say Rafinha in the top tab up there? What is that about? Why? Huh? Sorry, guys. I don't know what's gone on there. Right, Alcaraz. There we go. So we've got all this already. Oh, have we clicked lower value? Quick, lower value. Right, scroll down. So you can see here, to be fair, in a shoddy Southampton team that's really struggled, you can see that they've put up some goals recently. They put 3 past Arsenal, of which in that game he scored and assisted in that game and dropped an 8.7. Now we know fantastic. Arsenal are a rather competent team. So this is why I've tried to say to everyone, don't take the stats. I know that's supposed to be my thing, but take them with a pinch of salt, because you can see here he's done fine in difficult games. He's definitely got quality, and that graphic definitely does him dirty, in my opinion.
I was going to say he played more of a forward role as well against Arsenal. He wasn't sitting in midfield. He was forward.
Yeah, I mean, you can see there that their keepers dropped a stinker and they played in a funny 4-4-2. So apparently he's only played 45 minutes. I can't recall why he would have got subbed off, whether there was an injury or an issue. But he got a goal. So he had 1 successful dribble, 2 shots on target. He managed to get a key pass, created a big chance for his teammates. 3 out of 8 ground duels is not too bad either. Drew a couple of fouls for his team. He got a clearance off the line as well, which is, for a 20-year-old attacker, means he was in the right place at the right place at the right time defensively, which is really nice. So, a reasonably good performance, and amazing to get the goal against Arsenal. I think that's incredible. And then he got a goal against Forest so another 3 goals from Southampton here. You can see that they're no joke offensively. They're not bad. We can see here he played in the 10 in a 4-2-3-1. So again, he's being tasked with just doing everything. okay heat map here. He got his goal. Only 26 touches of the ball, to be fair. He didn't win any of his duels, which is kind of what I was alluding to, that maybe he will need to improve physically to cut it in the Premier League long term. Gave away 2 fouls as a result of probably not being able to beat off his man. In his defense, Ryan Yates is an absolute monster who is a bit of a cheat as well. He likes to be a bit dirty with people. Mangala as well is a tank. Like, these are Awani as well when he comes back into midfield to help out. Niakate, Felipe's a monster from Atletico. Morgan Gibbs-White is very talented. Like, it's quite hard physically to be okay in this game, and he's done enough to score a goal, so he's done fine. Against Liverpool, 4-4. Again, Southampton not struggling to score goals here, just conceding a bucket load of them. So again, he's played behind the striker in this game, behind Kamaldeen Sulemana, who we've been linked with before, but ultimately he went to Southampton. So I think the 6.4 is unfair. I think that Sulemana's good rating is a direct result of a lot of work that went on behind him. You can see he's been all over the place on this pitch. He got an assist, so presumably, I'm not sure. I would assume it was for one of the Sulemana goals. 2 key passes, two accurate long balls. So you could see what the game plan was there. Use your ability and your pace. Help the counter-attacks and breaking with Sulemana where possible. He managed to get a shot on target, and you can see he had a war effort there to try and be at least somewhat physical in this game. Half of his ground duels, 8 out of 16 against a tough Liverpool side with Fabinho in the middle. He's tried his best. I think that's really tidy, to be fair. I think he's done really well there. Managed to draw 3 free kicks for his team. Completed half of his dribbles, 3, which is really good. And then put up decent numbers, a couple of tackles, a couple of clearances. I think the stats do this lad very, very dirty. I think he's really good. He's not quite as superstar as Cherki is, but I think there's a really, really good player in here who's understands positioning offensively, defensively. He's tenacious. He's trying his best. He's pacey. There's a lot going on here. I think there's a diamond in the rough. Definitely. I think they've done him real, real dirty. So let's go and have a look at his transfer marked. Oh, we have player agent. I haven't actually looked at this yet, so I'm also seeing this for the first time. There's not really anything here that gives us any more information. No Argentina sort of appearances at youth level. Joined for a relatively low fee. Probably would be available for quite a reasonable fee as well, to be completely fair. So his agent, Roll Sports. Oh, he's their only player. Never mind. So Alcaraz, I don't know what you guys think about that. I think there's probably better options out there, but underdog story wise, I think this kid could be a really good player if somebody gives him a chance. That's just my thought on it anyway.
I was quite impressed with him whenever I saw him. The assist for Sulemana against Liverpool I'm sure it was a ball in behind the centre halves on the counter. Pretty sure.
Might have been.
And Sulemana picked it up in the centre circle and ran for goal and scored. But I've always been quite impressed. I thought he played quite well against us as well, to be fair. In the semi-final and in the league game. He dropped pretty poor marks, but I saw it wasn't too bad. Evening to Trolls, hope you're well. Clive says, according to BBC News, Bellingham's cost 89 million. Quite cheap, that, in this day and age.
Maybe bonuses and things, though, on that.
Call Me Swift says, cracking centre-back, Todibo. Stephen Hark says, definitely Todibo or Kim Min-jae for me. Looks like Kim Min-jae could be heading for Man United, if what I've read is true.
Yeah, maybe. They love a South Korean.
They do. Ji-sung Park, of course. It's one of their players. Madison and Cherki or Shabojlai and Gula. There you go. Question: which one?
I don't like that question. No, I'm not answering that. I hate it. I want all of them. No, that's horrible. Couldn't you have swapped them around slightly?
Well,
no, I'm not answering that.
Pick 2 out of them 4 then.
No, I still can't do it. Whichever way we swap it around, that is horrible. I want all of them.
Pretty positive rumours about Gula as well, isn't there? So, maybe he's one we are definitely pursuing. He's a player, Jean-Clair Todibo. I looked at his goals and assists and realised he was a centre-back, says Harry.
Yeah. With lack of goals and assists.
But he's serious, 1453. So I'd love to see Lovro Maya and Borna Souza in black and white.
Borna Souza. Yeah, Sanjay has done a lot of articles on Borna Souza. He's a massive fan of him.
Where's he from?
I think he plays in Germany. Souza, isn't he? He's the left back, I'm pretty sure.
Stu says, do you rate that Aaron Hickey from Brentford? He can play both sides and he's young.
Yeah, Sousa's the Stuttgart left back. 7 assists, 2 goals this season. Croatian.
All right.
He looks very Croatian as well.
Interesting. Yes, we rate Aaron Hickey from Brentford. He can play both sides. He's young, but I can't see Brentford being in.
We were linked with him before he went to Brentford, and Brentford got him.
Yeah, he's only young, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Lee Robinson, is Rabiot a realistic midfield option for NUFC? Who knows? Who knows? He'd be a fantastic player, but a bit of problems with his.
Although we don't want to have to deal with his mother, who is his agent, and he's very demanding.
Fed says the pictures of him in his niche shirt didn't fit the thumbnail. There you go. And that's the reason why he had the Barcelona shirt on.
That's not a reason, though. That's like putting Isak on a match preview thumbnail and then putting him in a Sociedad shirt because the picture didn't fit. Like,
Ian says Todibo's aerials one is poor. I noticed that in the first one, but it looks okay in his match reviews.
Did they look poor? Let's have a look. Todibo. Oh, you're not wrong. They are rather poor, to be fair.
But they looked okay in the match reports, though. So
yeah, it's not something I know enough about to give you a concrete answer on. I've only seen Todibo play a cut of. I don't know how many times have I seen Nice this season. A few, because I thought they're one of the teams that have got all the English players. So it's really funny to watch Nice. 2 or 3 times. I've not seen him enough to really give you an answer on that.
Oh, West Ham kits are awful. Oh, dear me.
Are they not playing in their proper kit?
No, Fiorentina, of course, wear mauve.
Purple, whatever it is.
For better description, yeah. And West Ham have got this creamy thing on with a horrible orange.
Oh, that's a shame. First European final in God knows how long, and they've got to wear an alternate shirt. They should always be able to wear their home shirts. Sod the colour clash.
James says, stats I was thinking today, did Newcastle lose a game in London last season? If anyone knows that. They did. Wembley.
In the Premier League. So we beat Tottenham, we beat Chelsea, we drew to Arsenal at the Emirates. We didn't lose to Palace. I can't remember what the Palace score was. Who else is from London? Fulham, we didn't lose to Fulham. That's 5.
Brentford, we didn't lose.
Brentford, we didn't lose to Brentford. I think that's it in London, isn't it?
We certainly didn't lose in the league. But the major one we did, which was the Carabao Cup final, unfortunately, but not in the league. Again, another one to say we should exploit the FFP. Stats I mentioned last night, though, FFP might become a thing of the past with this Arabian League being set up. Do you want to explain why again? Stats for people that didn't see last night? Yeah,
so if anybody didn't see us last night on the show, so I mentioned something about how this was when the news dropped about Messi maybe is going to go to Saudi to one of the clubs. And my point was, it wasn't my original point. I saw a few people talking about this on Twitter, and it's very, very true, is that European leagues might start backtracking on FFP a little bit. Because if sort of decent, like Zaha's a good player, he's not Messi though. If the pull of Saudi Arabia, if they're going to mop up any sort of player at 29 and above, if they're just going to quadruple their salary and pull them over to Saudi Arabia, we're going to have a big chasm of where we've just got no talent at that top end. And those are the sorts of players that sell tickets, and you want to see in like the Champions League and stuff like that. All the experienced. You've got like Edin Dzeko and Lukaku in the Champions League final, for example. They're not super young. Dzeko's in his mid-30s or late 30s now. It's dangerous. I could see them changing FFP rules or variations of it because they might be a bit scared. I mean, obviously this happened with China a few years ago, and it kind of failed a little bit. However, Saudi Arabia are going about this considerably more aggressively with a lot more money. So I think it's something they might be concerned about, is that, we're going to lose a lot of our attractive players within the leagues. It will hurt the brand if they're all just going to disappear to Saudi Arabia.
Trivia fact of the day: Todibo has the fastest sending off in League and history.
Wow,
that's interesting.
we employed Mitrovic, so
who would he take the place of, Cher or Botman? Probably
Cher.
more Cher, isn't he? Yeah. Let's come down and see what people say about the Southampton lad. I just don't see people being up. Quite a way. Oh, here we go. Poor man Szoboszlai. Santos says Alcaraz is class.
Who's a poor man Szoboszlai? We've not reviewed anybody in that position really today.
Tom says, could it be difficult for him to escape? I'll see what you did there, Tom. Ian Brownlee says, stop penny pinching. We need to move up. So, yeah, okay for the squad, then, well. Julie J says, where will Shaletta Chas end up?
Not anywhere near Murphy.
Yeah, I don't rate him at all, I'll be honest. Tom says, is it not Racing Club?
Racing Club de Lens. Not the same place.
Fox is the man to go to here. Alcaraz, say it again, I can't remember how you say it. Alcaraz. Brilliant player. Knew he would shine in the Paul Saints team. Should be a backup option to Franca. There you go. That's high praise.
I think he's on about Mateus França there, the Brazilian that we've looked at a bunch. Although we've not really heard much about him recently.
Our Frick says Alcaraz was subbed because the gaffer wanted to defend the lead and brought in extra bodies at the back.
Thank you.
Which didn't work for them, of course. They were terrible as well in the second half of Southampton. They were under the cosh. Then Fox says Alcaraz also made the clearance off the line versus Arsenal. Little injury in the Saints going defensive meant he came off at half time. Right, there you go. That's everything. Kev Tay says, I agree with several sentiments here. Let's hope we aren't dribbling about with maybe squad players. Let's sign 3 or 4 first-team players like Madders, Sobs, Diaby, Thuram, etc. Shobs. And then Fox says Alcaraz is 20, by the way, scored more in half season than some of ours did all season.
True. Very true.
Oh, this guy got injured. Apparently got injured by doing the sliding on knee celebration. Interesting. Right, that's it. 3 players reviewed once again. Fantastic work from Alex there. Did you got those stats? Of course, if you're still here, hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't done so already, give us a thumbs up because they are really important. And if you're new, please subscribe to the channel. Also, we are heading for 21,000 now, past 20.2. Big show tomorrow night, as I said, alluded to earlier. It's the 20k celebration. The 4 of us will be on the screen. Paul's return, plus a couple of guests. Guests that we used to have on TTL Friday coming on, Roy and Jimmy. Plenty of surprises as well in the show. All super chats going to charity also, so that's a massive show tomorrow to look forward to. I think we're doing a few awards as well, so will be a fun show. Will be a great show. Good celebration of the show. Thanks you for a lot for watching tonight. Thanks for the mods in the background doing all that work. To Alex for getting all them stats together.
And hit the like button before you disappear as well, please. Yeah, I just had a look at the likes. So definitely we can get more than that before we finish.
Is it bad? Should we get Daisy on so we can do the likes? Daisy's coming on. Hit the likes while she's on. There's Daisy. Hope you hit them thumbs ups to help us out. As I say, we should be back tomorrow night, all 4 of us. Look out for a daily news show from Paul. He's been doing those this week. But until then, we will see you tomorrow night. Thanks for coming. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Come on the Hammers. Get watching them. Stato, see you tomorrow also. Thanks for coming on, mate. Do my word.
Away the lads and lasses. Good luck, West Ham.
Good luck, the Hammers.
Come back and check out some green.